Yes, good evening to all once again. Welcome to Wednesday's Dhamma reading session on Dhamma. We will start the session with paying to homage to the Buddha. You can all recite. You can join me in reciting Namo Tassa for 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham dhammam sangam namasami. Yes, today we will be reading from Majjhima Nikāya. These from this session, have started reading. I have selected the reading from Majjhima Nikāya from Bhante Vimalaramsi's transcripts, which was already available in our Dhamma Sukha. Here, basically, directly we'll be having transcripts of Bhante's explanation for the suttas. It will be very helpful in recollecting this Bhante Vimalaramsi's teaching. Yes, we will be starting from MN to all the taints. Sabbāsava Sutta. This was given by Bhante Vimalaramsi in the year 2005 December at Gainesville, FL. I think Nanda Madam can start reading.
Majjhima Nikāya 2. Thus have I heard, on one occasion, the Blessed One was living at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's park. There he addressed the bhikkhus. Thus, bhikkhus, Venerable Sir, they replied. The Blessed One said this: Bhikkhus, I shall teach you a discourse on the restraint of all the taints. Listen and attend closely to what I shall say. Yes, Venerable Sir, the bhikkhus replied. The Blessed One said this. Summary. Bhikkhus, I say that the destruction of the taints is for one who knows and sees, not for one who does not know and see. Who knows and sees what? Wise attention and unwise attention. When one attends unwisely, unarisen taints arise and arisen taints increase. When one attends wisely, unarisen taints do not arise and arisen taints are abundant. Because there are taints that should be abundant by seeing. There are taints that should be abundant by restraining. There are taints that should be abundant by using. There are taints that should be abundant by enduring. There are taints that should be abundant by avoiding. There are taints that should be abundant by removing. There are taints that should be abundant by developing. Taints to be abundant by seeing. What taints, bhikkhus, should be abundant by seeing? Here, bhikkhus, an untaught ordinary person who has no regard for noble ones and is unskilled and undisciplined in their Dhamma, who has no regard to true men and is unskilled and undisciplined in their Dhamma, does not understand what things are fit for attention and what things are unfit for attention. Since that is so, he attends to those things unfit for attention, and he does not attend to those things unfit for attention. What are the things unfit for attention that he attends to? They are things such that when he attends to them, the unarisen taint of sensual desire arises in him, and the arisen taint of sensual desire increases. The unarisen taint of being arises in him, and the arisen taint of being increases. The unarisen taint of ignorance arises in him, and the arising taint of ignorance increases. These are the things unfit for attention that he attends to. Bhante Vimalaramsi's explanation. Now, what does all of that mean? There are things which he should attend to, which when he attends to them, the unarisen sensual desire arises in him, and the arisen sensual desire increases. Wanting mind. I want to be happy. I want this particular kind of food. It all has to do with desire. And as you get more involved in desire, you naturally tend to want more. The more you get, the more you want. The unarisen taint of being arises in him, and the arisen taint of being increases. Being, what are we talking about here? Habitual tendencies? Well, we are talking about habitual tendencies, but also identifying with these desires personally. TT 447. Bhante Vimalaramsi. Identifying with thoughts and feelings personally. See, when you started to laugh, all of a sudden you started seeing how absurd your mind is when it takes things personally. And when you laugh, then you say, it's only these thoughts. It's nothing, right? That's what we are talking about here. And a habitual tendency, a habitual habit of taking all of our thoughts and feelings and running with them and getting serious with them and letting these run around in our minds and in our actions is the cause of a lot of suffering. The habitual tendency is not liking a feeling when it arises because it's a painful feeling, and getting involved, indulging in feeling and feeling sorry that it's here and not wanting it to be there and wanting to be different, and then being involved in that makes the feeling bigger and more intense. Taking it seriously, worrying about it, wanting it to just be different, wanting to go away, all of those desires and identifying with those desires causes a lot of suffering. A lot of suffering. And unarisen taint of ignorance arises in him, and the arising taint of ignorance increases. Always when the Buddha talks about ignorance, he's talking about not seeing and understanding the Four Noble Truths. Always. When you have a cold, you know the First Noble Truth very intimately. But because that unpleasant feeling arises, it has a tendency to sneak by the attention and get caught in the cause of the suffering is craving. The cause of the suffering is identifying with the suffering taking that suffering personally. One part of clinging or thinking about is having opinions, getting caught in concepts, opinions, ideas, and when a painful feeling arises, we almost always say, well, that's terrible, that's not right, that's wrong, that's bad. In truth, there's nothing wrong or bad about a painful feeling. It's just there. And the more you get involved in judging it and trying to control the feeling with your thoughts, with your desires, with your wants, and taking all of those thoughts and feelings personally, it's going to cause that feeling to get bigger and more intense. So, because of that, we don't really see or understand the third noble truth, the cessation of the suffering. Because of getting involved in the concepts and ideas about good and bad, and like and dislike, and all of those opinions that we wind up having. Pain has a way of causing mind to dull out, especially if you're not being extremely watchful. And the old habitual tendency is real strong in coming up. The old habitual tendency of fighting with the pain instead of seeing it as it truly is. It's just a sensation, no big deal. There's these concepts and ideas of, I have to change it. This is no good. I don't want it to be like this. Now you're fighting with reality because the reality is when that pain is there, it's there. And it's okay for it to be there. The more you try to resist the present moment, the more the present moment pushes back at you and forces you to look at it. So we all have colds here. But that doesn't mean that we have to indulge because there's a cold. It means you see how the dislike of that situation arises and causes your mind to get tight and tense, and how you get involved in the whole drama of the cold. Your habitual tendency is always to act in the same way when the cold arises. But even during the time of the Buddha caught a cold. He got pretty sick sometimes. It didn't change his perspective of the
World at all.
world at all. It's just there's sometimes when there's painful feeling, and that's the truth. And it's okay for the painful feelings to be there. It has to be because it's the truth. So he developed his equanimity. He had his balance of mind that says, okay, it's there. No resistance to it. No trying to change it. No trying to make it better than it is. There is just this acceptance. So when you re-indulging in the taint or ignorance, ignorance tends to increase. In other words, the more you indulge in not seeing the noble truths and indulging your own suffering, the more that suffering lasts, the more it stays around. And the harder it is to see the process at that point, yes, Bhante Vimalaramsi, definitely. The easier it is to identify with it and then go into the poor me's and excuses. Student, and you notice that the way your mind is, Student, you don't really see what's happening at all, do you? Bhante Vimalaramsi, no. Student, so it becomes harder and harder to. Bhante Vimalaramsi, right. But you started doing it. I mean, you told me yesterday that when you sat down and meditated, all of a sudden you were able to relax into that. And your mind was very clear. But look what happens when you indulge in it, just even a little bit. Laughs. These are part of the lessons. You know, these are the hindrances when you come up. They're real things. They're real. When your mind is more at ease, it's easier to watch these things as individual little steps, little processes, instead of all of a sudden getting caught by it. You don't see that. But remember this one statement, what you resist, persist. And the more you resist it, the more it's going to persist. So what to do? One, stop taking it so seriously. Two, stop trying to control. Because who wants to control? Who wants really to be the way we want it to be? I do. But the truth is, this is here because conditions are right for it to be here. What are you doing with it right now? Do you want your cold to last longer? Resist it? Fight it? Hover your way through it? Try to ignore it? When it comes up, get angry at it? Or, we got a big tree out there. If you want, you could go kick the tree. And you do that, and you're sure to suffer quite a bit more than you need to. So it always feels better to laugh than it does to cry. It feels a lot better. So choose your style. Either laugh with it or cry with it. Because you are going to do one or the other. Either accept it or don't accept it. Your choice. That doesn't mean it's going to change it, except to make it more painful if you don't accept it. You can't ignore it. So why don't we try changing our perspective a little bit with it and allowing it to be instead of resisting it?
Yes, madam. Thank you, Nanda, madam, for reading. It's really very interesting to know that Bhante Vimalaramsi always like tells don't don't resist the reality. Here, even Bhante is explaining in detail. If we want to change present way to make it what we want rather than the situation to be. The key learning what I feel is we should not force these situations to be. And definitely in last paragraph it was mentioned that we have two options with the situations, either to be with harmonious with the situation or cry with the situation. It is we to decide in which way we take. It was very good, nicely explained here, Bante Vimalaramsi. And Bante was emphasizing on habitual tendencies here. Definitely, since we are in the samsara, definitely habitual tendencies have a strong, strong force we can say in the sense in daily routine. Let us say in the situation which here it is explained. Let us say some very cold weather has come. Our habitual tendencies of reacting to that situation is as per our past experiences. Now we need to change that habitual tendencies. It comes by experience, just like having a quieter mind, like one of the student here explaining that is able to see the clear mind, clarity of mind. And Bhante Vimalaramsi has emphasized here that when you have a clarity of mind or quietness of mind, then you can see little things how your mind tends to move from the quieter mind to the clinging mind. We can notice about it. And what we can do in the situation of difficulty is just to accept the situation, and we should not fight with the situation, just be present. Nanda madam, do you want to add anything, Nanda madam?
Yeah, you're quite right. I'm beginning to accept the fact it's much better to accept things as they are, rather than trying to criticize ourselves and trying to control it. And to me, the 6R, practicing 6R is enormously helping me to relax and accept the things and take a pause and think about everything, and take everything easily rather than immediately reacting without thinking. Um, so you're absolutely right. Accepting things for what they are is very important for us to feel relaxed and peaceful, and not try to control it and change the situations. And when we are relaxed, the insight naturally arise. And as Bhante Vimalaramsi says, when we think about it, you just laugh. I do laugh at myself quite a lot, because prior to practicing 6R, I didn't have that insight.
No, really, madam. Actually, laugh is the best thing to make our mind light. Actually, to really to say, even for the new students, we advise them to laugh so that it naturally makes our mind quieter enough from the normal habitual tendencies. What we can say, rightly said, very rightly said, madam. And here, Bhante Vimalaramsi was emphasizing that even Buddha was he got pretty sick sometimes. And what important thing is, Buddha didn't feel, just accepted it that I am sick, and he has a painful feeling, and he developed that equanimity towards it. And one more thing I would like to just have. Important point to notice here, takeaways here. Yes, here I would like to highlight the point here. Yes, yes. I would like to read here: the habitual tendency of not liking a feeling when it arises because it's a painful feeling, and getting involved, indulging in feeling, and feeling sorry that it's there, and not wanting it to be there, and wanting it to be different, and then being involved in that makes the feeling bigger and more intent. Here Bhante Vimalaramsi is emphasizing that let us say some feeling has arisen in our mind, and it is not likened by our mind, and we want that feeling to be in a different way. Then what happens is we are basically making that feeling bigger and more intent. It's very good point. I think we can move on to further reading. Chaya madam, would you like to read, ma'am?
Yes, I can read.
Yes, madam, you can start
Is
reading.
my voice clear enough? Can you all
Yes,
hear me?
madam, your voice is clear enough, ma'am.
Okay, yes, thank you. So, uh, Amen. And what are the things that fit for attention that he does not attend to? They are things such that when he attends to them, the unarisen taint of sensual desire does not arise in him, and the arisen taint of sensual desire is abandoned. The unarisen taint of being does not arise in him, and the arisen taint of being is abandoned. The unarisen taint of ignorance does not arise in him, and the arisen taint of ignorance is abandoned. These are the things fit for attention that he does not attend to. By attending to things unfit for attention, and by not attending to things fit for attention, both arisen taints, both unarisen taints arise in him, and arisen taints increase. Bhante Vimalaramsi. Yes, I know that if I get up and walk, my legs won't be asleep. So what's wrong with getting up and walking? Bhante Vimalaramsi. If you haven't sat for half an hour a lot, then a sensation arises, whether it's a feeling of going to sleep or pain or whatever. We have a tendency to identify with it. When we identify with it, then we have a tendency we want to control it, and we try to control it with our thoughts by trying to push the feeling away to make it different than it is. You get very clouded by your desire at that time, and it goes from just a little uncomfortableness to a major pain because of the want to control. So, if you remember the instructions say when a sensation arises, the first thing you'll notice is that your mind begins to think thoughts about it. Why is this here? Why does it have to happen now? I don't want it to disturb me at all. All these kinds of thoughts. So, the first thing you'll have to let go of is the thought about the sensation and then relax. Wonderful. And then you'll notice a tight mental fist, the I don't like it, wrapped around that sensation. But the truth is that the sensation is there. It has to be all right for that sensation to be there in your mind. So you let go and you say, okay, that sensation is there and it's okay for it to be there. And then you relax and then you come back to your object of meditation. But your mind goes back to that and it plays the same number over and over again. Thoughts about it, let it go, relax. Tightness around the sensation, let it be. The sensation will either go away or your mind will get to a sense of balance with it, and it doesn't even pull your attention to it anymore. Take a while to do that. These are important lessons for you to learn in how your mind works. First, you have to learn how to recognize the thinking. The more thoughts you have about it, the more intense the pain becomes. So you have to let go of those thoughts and relax. Then you notice the tight mental fist around it, and you have to let that go and relax. Now, especially with something like your legs going to sleep, if you can smile into that and just keep light with it, then you're starting to change your perspective and it doesn't turn into such a big emergency. I have to get up now and move. After 30 minutes, yeah, you can get up and move. But sometimes that will be 15 minutes into the sitting. 1941. See how see your mind knows where all of your weak spots are, and it will start throwing up these hindrances. Now, what I would recommend is the next time you go to sit, don't sit exactly in the same way. I mean, you can sit on your bench one time, sit on a chair the next time. You can put a towel or a blanket or something so you change the angle a little bit, and that will be enough so that the legs won't go to sleep. But what I found with these kind of benches is that you have a tendency you have your legs to go to sleep because you are putting a lot of pressure on your knees when you sit that way. And that sometimes just putting a pillow on is enough to change the angle so that you don't have a problem. Sometimes you have to reconsider on another ways of doing it. Okay.
Yes.
Student.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Just I would like to have some throw on some important takeaways from this reading, which you have read. Like here, basically, student was asking, why can't we move when we have some leg discomfort in our walking, like in our meditation? Here, Bante is emphasizing that at least we need to sit for 30 minutes. And Bante is emphasizing that someone who is not comfortable in sitting for at least half an hour, they may change little posture and be comfortable in whichever way they find suitable. And sometimes what happens is you may just be comfortable, even though your legs may get numb, it's fine. You may be just smile with that, and you may be comfortable, and you may start sitting over it. And important thing is, as already we have discussed, that here important thing is basically when what happens is, the reason behind this XR process is, like let us say when we get when some student gets an hindrances, what happens is the mind, when he starts applying the 6R process, he recognizes, then releases, then relax, and then come back to the object of meditation. During this process, what I think is, basically our mind is moving from a space of hindrance to unhindered space, where unhindered space is a place where it is a pure mind. And due to this process of going to hindrance or coming back from the hindrance, our mind is getting refined or pure, where our wisdom is getting developed. What do you say, Nanda madam?
Yeah, I do agree with you. What I'm noticing exactly the same thing. I think with me, it's a habit to tense, especially my shoulders. And when I consciously relax it, the mind actually become calmer and peaceful, and the body feels much relaxed and calm and has a pleasant feeling because that tension is not there. And therefore, I think it is a natural process. I a natural smile appears on my lips, and as you said, the body becomes relaxed, and everything becomes very light, and therefore, I think that the natural insight arises. So, absolutely, I agree with you there.
Yes. Mm, we'll see. We are
I'd
getting.
like I'd like to
Uh,
say one more thing.
yes, madam. You
Uh,
can.
yeah.
Yes. Yes,
So
madam.
I also like the context about paying attention to where the mind's attention is not taking that base. So here in the text that we read, it's very well saying that we will, if we sit longer, then we are able to really identify and see clearly the that where we don't need to give our attention to, because the moment you don't realize that this is not the base for giving our attention to a hindrance, and the more we keep on running around it, we will be repeating the same loop of the habitual tendency. So the more we practice, the longer we sit, we are able to uh, see clearly that this is a hindrance, and accept it and not give more attention to the points about giving attention that was mentioned earlier. So I think that's what I understood. I hope that's the right message that I've got.
Truly, like in longer sitting, one can able to see how mind's attention moves from one thing to another. It's rightly said. Even Bhante Vimalaramsi emphasizes it. Very rightly said, madam. Is I think Sunny is also connected. Sunny, do you want to read, Sunny?
Yes,
Yes. Yes.
student. So it's not bad to not have this discomfort, Bante. Well, the truth is, discomfort arises whether you want it to or not. It's a painful feeling, student. Pain is one thing, but when your legs go asleep and then they get gangrene, that's not as good, Bante. Well, it's still pain, isn't it? It's just different levels of pain, but that's okay. There's all kinds of different pains that can arise in your body at different times. But if you sit every time, you have the same pain coming up every time, then I don't want you to sit that way anymore. Sometimes when your legs are like this and they start to go to sleep, all it takes is just turn off one leg and the circulation is there. Don't sit so tight. Sit with one leg here and one leg here. They don't have to be crossed like that. Or sit up higher. I can't sit flat on the floor for any length of time. My legs go to sleep continually, but I can sit up a little higher on a cushion. So I'm sitting more like this and I don't have that problem. Student, and the breakthrough for me was when I was beginning to feel sorry for myself on that cushion out there, and I started to give up. As I was walking up the hill, just realizing that I am not the only one who suffers, and then that's when I can laugh. Ah, good one. Did you see how the laugh changed your perspective and it stopped the poor me's? Okay, you can do that with anything, any mental state that comes up. Can do that. Student, the poor me is similar to any other thing? Bhante, yes, it's still a painful feeling and there's still a craving. I don't like it, and there's still all of the thoughts about why you don't like that feeling, and that gets into poor me's and all of that. And when you laugh, all of a sudden, it's not me anymore. It's just this thing. That's all it is. Just this feeling. No big deal. But it's so easy to get involved in the seriousness of the problem, and the problem starts to get huge and it gets overwhelming and you don't know what to do, so you just indulge in it more. But when you laugh with it, that huge problem is just a little inconvenient thing. It's not any big deal. You have heard me give a lot of talks saying that your senses or humor is very important, and how you are starting to realize it. This stuff is real. Don't take this stuff seriously. It's not worth it. There's nothing worth being serious about. Okay.
Yes, it's very rightly said here that we need to take a pause to laugh here. because how important the laugh is, like whenever someone gets stuck into the some of the situations, then when we laugh, it definitely it feels a very lighter version. What do you say, Sunny?
Yes, sir. It's been because most of the time here, during the practice, when we say 6 hour, re-smile and relax, is the same thing which is being said as laugh here. We are actually doing the 6 hour process, but here laugh is being mentioned in the other way. Maybe the process is actually being repeated in each and every situation here.
Yes. Really, even we advise new students, like whenever they start training of 6 hours, whenever one hindrance is getting up continuously, then we tell them to laugh and how the crazy our mind is. Yes, Sunny, you can continue.
This is how he attends unwisely. Was I in the past? Was I not in the past? What was I in the past? How was I in the past? Having been what? What did I become in the past? Shall I be in the future? Shall I not be in the future? What shall I be in the future? How shall I be in the future? Having been what shall I become in the future? Or else he is inwardly perplexed about the present. Thus, am I? Am I not? What am I? How am I? Where has this being come from? And where will it go? Bhante, now it isn't necessarily talking about past lives, it's just past experiences too. When you start getting involved in, well, I have sadness now. Was I like that in the past? How did that happen in the past? Indulging in thinking in the past. The Buddha says that this is unwise attention. Why? Because you're working with concepts, you're working with ideas that don't have anything to do with what is here right now in the present moment. See, this is a major difference between Buddhism and other religion. Other religion, they say, well, just give your problem to God and he will take care of it. This is isn't like that. This is you have to be responsible for watching out for yourself. You are not other being that can help. There is no other being that can help you to be happy. You have to learn how to be happy yourself.
Very rightly explained, Sunny. One day,
Hmm.
there is no other
Because
being that can help you to
hmm,
be happy. One has to
because
learn.
this has been my experience also. Because as a
Okay.
part of my whenever I was sitting or whenever I was in my retreat, I used to question myself: Am I eligible? Why am I here? What am I doing? Uh, why should I be doing meditation? Uh, why did I come here? These were all hindrances which were popping up in my mind. All the questions regarding the past, the present, and the future. How did I earn this eligibility to do this meditation? So that's where the things are worked out because during the Dhamma talks, our questions are actually answered because we hear what we are supposed to hear. And that's what is said. Only thing you're supposed to do is what you're able to do today, what you're able to do now in the present time. So this is
Truly.
what is being said. Student, what's the difference between reaching into the past for pain or reaching into the past to find a joyous moment to hold on to the feeling? Bhante, because what he's talking about here was I in the past, was I not in the past. It's talking about concepts. When I was 3, my mother got angry at me and locked me in the closet. Was that the cause of my fear of darkness now? Or was it something else that happened? Okay, you're trying to work with concepts instead of you can pull up a memory of joy, that's an uplifting feeling, that's an wholesome kind of feeling, and with mental negative states and emotions and these kind of things, there is always very very heavy identifying with those. This is me, this is mine, this is who I am. When you bring up the feeling of joy, You are not necessarily taking that joy personally and saying, "This is me." You are just saying, "Oh, this is that pleasant feeling." There's a little bit of difference here. And how many times do we hear, "What am I here for? What's the point of life?" Now, all of these are concepts, and it takes you out of the present moment. And it causes a lot of mental gymnastics in thinking that. But when you laugh at yourself for getting caught by thinking about these kind of things, all of a sudden you see very clearly what you are here for. You are here to learn. Here to learn what? Here to learn how this process works and how to be happy. Because when you see how the process works, you will be happy. And this is not a giddy kind of laughing and you can't stop. This is a deep kind of contentment.
Very nicely said. What do you say, Nanda madam, on this?
Yeah, I agree with that. It is very interesting. Thank you.
Yes. It means that whenever a kind of laugh comes, we need no, we need not stop that laugh to be we can laugh. It's very good thing Bante is explaining here about happiness. And one more thing I would like to share here. Recently, I was reading one sutta. In that sutta, it was clearly mentioned that sentient beings have power of healing the illness or illness of the body, but the sentient beings do not have any power to heal the mind, in the sense to remove the mental suffering. It's a really very good point to be noted that even gods have power, do not have any power to remove the mental suffering. How this is? One has to work for oneself to make this happiness. Very good. Chaya madam, do you want to add anything? Yes, I think we can move on.
No, I am
Madam,
sorry. I
yes.
was not. Somebody just called me, so I missed on what you
No,
said.
no worries, madam.
Yeah. So
Actually,
yes,
uh,
mm,
what we were
yes, laughing and smiling is the what we were talking about. So many a times when we do experience this, and yeah, I mean, I find it a blessing to understand that it is important to laugh, which normally when we take up meditation, we think it is something to be very serious and we need to concentrate, or oh, I'm feeling like this, or I'm not able to sit. So it's a very different quality which we have learned in this I mean, I've heard for the first time that just laugh it out and things become, I mean, we lose the entire grip on what we were holding on to just by laughing it out. So truly appreciate this learning of laughing. Thank you so much.
yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes, rightly said. Sindhu, do you want to add anything, Sindhu? Yes. I think Sunny, we can continue reading, Sunny. I think we will read
When
for this page and we can end. Yes. Yes. Yes.
when he attends unwisely in this way, one of the six views arises in him. The view self exists for me arises in him as true and established, or the view no self exists for me arises in him as true and established, or the view I perceive self with self arises in him as true and established. Bhante, this is what the physiotherapists are really into very much. I have to heal the self before you can see that there is no self, or the view I perceive not self with self arises in him as true and established, or the view I perceive with not self arises in him as true and established, or else he has some such views as this. It is this self of mine that speaks and feels and experiences here and there the result of good and bad actions. But this self of mine is permanent, everlasting, eternal, not subject to change, and it will endure as long as eternity. This speculative view, because is called the thicket of views, the wilderness of views, the contortion of views, the vacillation of views, the fetter of views. Fettered by the fetter of views, the untaught ordinary person is not freed from birth, aging, and death, from sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. He is not freed from suffering, I say, because as a well taught noble disciple who has regard for noble ones and is skilled and disciplined in their Dhamma, who has regard for true men and is skilled and disciplined in their Dhamma, understanding what things are fit for attention and what things are unfit for attention. Since that is so, he does not attend to those things unfit for attention and he attends to those things fit for attention. What are the things unfit for attention that he doesn't not attend to? They are things such that when he attends to them, the unarisen taint of sensual desire arises in him, and the arisen taint of ignorance increases. These are the things unfit for attention that he does not attend to. And what are the things fit for attention that he attends to? They are things such that when he attends to them, the unarisen taint of sensual desire does not arise in him, and the arisen taint of ignorance is abundant. These are the things fit for attention he attends to. By not attending to things unfit for attention and by attending to things fit for attention, unarisen taints do not arise in him and arisen taints are abundant. So, indulging in your thoughts about whatever you think is so important that you need to think about, that is the cause of ignorance. That is the cause of identifying with your thoughts and feeling personally. That is the cause of sensual desire. That is the cause of immeasurably amounts of suffering. Indulging in those things does not lead to cessation of suffering. Speculating about whether there's a self or not self, or how does the self recognize not self, and all these kind of things, all these kind of views, all they are for philosophical discussion, and nobody can ever agree on those kind of things. But even coming up with some kind of reasonable solution doesn't lead to cessation of suffering. What leads to cessation of suffering is seeing that pain arises and seeing how your mind's attention moves, how it starts thinking about this, and how you let that be and relax, how it starts thinking about this, and how you let that be and relax, how the mental fist occurs around that sensation and let that be and relax. This is how you let go of the arisen sensual desire, the being, the ignorance. This is how you let go of all of that. Now, the tension and tightness that arises in your mind, in your body, is craving. Craving always manifests as tension and tightness in your body and in your mind. So, every time you let thoughts go and you relax, what have you done? You have let go of craving. There's a brief moment where there's a no thoughts, there's a very clear mind, and then you bring that mind back to your object of meditation. It's only a brief moment, but as you get more familiar with doing that, that moment starts to expand a little bit more and a little bit more, and then you start staying on your object of meditation without so many distractions pulling you away. Today, because it's the first day of retreat, your mind is real active just like it's normally is. That's only natural, but you're starting to teach your mind how to let go of these thoughts and relax and come back to your object of meditation. As your mind starts to get the idea of how this happens, it becomes easier and easier, especially when we don't take things so personally and get so involved in concepts and ideas. Get involved in our thinking about, as we start letting go of that more and more, the suffering becomes less and less. Every time you let go of that pain, every time you let go of that tightness in your mind and in your body, you are experiencing cessation of craving. And how do you do that? Laugh. The whole eightfold path is involved in the laugh, but you have to let go of the indulging in. That's the trick. That's the deep holding that you have to be able to see and say, ah, it doesn't matter whether it's there or not. It really doesn't.
Yes, thank you, Sunny. It is very good reading today that we have learned importance of laugh.
Mhm. So
Even
one thing which I can get take home with this para is like, as we start letting go of that more and more, the suffering becomes less and less.
truly,
Maybe we have to keep reminding ourselves about this. It's okay to let go so that our suffering is getting less and less.
truly, Sunny.
Mhm.
Yes, Nanda madam, do you want to add anything? You can share anything before closing.
Yeah, that is really beautiful. The 6 hour practice 6 hour. When we practice 6 hour, we are um, reducing the hindrances and reducing the craving, and we are practicing the Noble Eightfold Path and the 7 awakening factors as simply by practicing the 6 hour. Such a beautiful method that Bhante Vimalaramsi has given us. I can't tell you how grateful I am for him for the 6 hour. Thank you very much. Beautiful reading.
Yes. Chai madam, do you want to add anything before closing?
No, I have already shared what I
Yes.
wanted to. The last para was exactly what I meant to say earlier. That the moment we start identifying and we get familiar with the practice, we can choose where not to, drive our attention and laugh at what's really driving us crazy. So
Yes,
yeah,
truly. Truly. It was very good reading today. And yes, now I think we can close the session with sharing of merit. We can all read together for sharing merit. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear struck fearless be. May the grieving shed
shed
all
all
grief,
grief,
and may all beings find relief.
relief.
May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thanking you all for joining. Thank you, Nanda madam. Thank you, Sunny. Thank you, Chaya madam. Thank you, Pai, Paul. Thank you, Sindhu. Wishing all happiness and peace. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Bye bye.